The morning began like any other in the quiet Suffolk village of Hoxne. Mist hovered low over the fields, clinging to the earth like a soft gray blanket. Birds moved between hedgerows, their wings cutting through the damp air with gentle flutters. The ground, rich with centuries of hidden history, appeared calm, ordinary, and unremarkable. To anyone passing through, it was just another patch of English countryside. Rolling farmland, sleepy lanes, and scattered cottages that seemed untouched by time. But beneath this stillness lay something extraordinary. Something that had waited patiently for over 16 centuries. Something that had survived the fall of an empire. The year was 1992. Eric Laws, a local farmer and amateur metal detectorist, had spent countless hours walking these fields before. He was not a treasure hunter in the dramatic sense. No maps, no legends, no desperate obsession. He was simply a man curious about what the land beneath his boots might hold. On that particular day, his metal detector hummed softly as he swept it back and forth across the soil. The device crackled occasionally, picking up bits of scrap metal, old nails, or discarded farm tools buried long ago. Nothing unusual. Then, suddenly, the sound changed. A sharp, continuous beep cut through the quiet. Eric paused. His heart quickened, though he tried to stay calm. He'd heard this sound before, but rarely with such intensity. He knelt down, brushing aside the grass with his hands. The earth was cool, slightly moist, and easy to move. As he dug deeper, his fingers struck something solid. Not stone, not rusted iron, something different. He carefully cleared more soil away, and in the dim light of the morning, a glint of gold appeared. At first it was small, just a flash, like sunlight trapped in metal. Eric froze. His breath slowed, his mind raced. He brushed away more dirt. And then he saw it clearly. A beautifully crafted gold bracelet. Delicate, intricate, ancient. It was not modern jewelry. The craftsmanship was too refined, too elegant, too unmistakably old. Tiny engravings shimmered across its surface, telling a silent story that had been buried for centuries. Eric realized in that moment that this was not an ordinary find. He covered the bracelet carefully and immediately stopped digging. Instead of continuing, he did something crucial, something that would change the course of British archaeology. He contacted the authorities. What followed would become one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in British history. A window into Roman Britain. Archaeologists arrived soon after. Experts from the British Museum and local heritage teams cordoned off the area, treating the site with extreme care. What Eric had uncovered was only the beginning, the first breath of a much larger discovery hidden beneath the soil. As professionals began excavating methodically, layer by layer, the true scale of the find started to reveal itself. Buried about 45 centimeters underground lay a large wooden chest, long since decayed into fragments. Inside it, however, was something breathtaking. A treasure hoard unlike anything seen before in Britain. Over the course of the excavation, archaeologists recovered more than 15,000 individual items. Gold coins, silver coins, jewelry, tableware, personal ornaments, and fragments of luxurious items that once belonged to wealthy Roman citizens. This was not a random collection of lost valuables. This was a carefully packed, intentionally buried fortune. The coins alone numbered in thousands, mostly from the late 4th and early 5th centuries AD, a time when Roman control over Britain was beginning to weaken. Many bore the faces of emperors whose reigns had shaped the empire's final decades in the region. There were solid gold pieces known as solidi, minted with the images of emperors such as Honorius and Arcadius. There were also silver coins, bronze pieces, and rare medallions that suggested immense wealth. But the true wonder of the Hoxne Hoard was not just its monetary value. It was its human story. The people behind the treasure. Among the coins lay personal items, objects that once belonged to real people. A gold necklace, finely worked and elegant. Delicate bracelets with detailed engravings. Rings that may have adorned the fingers of Roman nobles or wealthy merchants. silver spoons and plates, some bearing inscriptions or decorative patterns. Even fragments of a small wooden chest bound with iron fittings, hinting at the care with which the treasure had been stored. One particularly fascinating item was a gold ring engraved with a tiny image of a woman. Archaeologists believe it may have been a personal memento, perhaps a keepsake of a loved one, a wife or a daughter. Another striking piece was a silver pepper pot shaped like a human head, a reminder of the luxurious dining habits of Roman elites. These were not merely objects of wealth. They were objects of identity, status, and memory. They belonged to someone or some family who had lived in Roman Britain during a time of uncertainty and fear. Why was the hoard buried? This is where the story deepens. By the late 4th century, Roman Britain was on decline. The once powerful empire was struggling with internal conflicts, economic instability, and external threats from invading tribes such as the Saxons, Picts, and Scots. Roman soldiers were gradually withdrawing, leaving cities vulnerable and rural estates isolated. For wealthy families, this was a dangerous time. Bandit raids were common, political chaos was spreading. The safety once guaranteed by Roman rule was fading. In this climate of fear, someone decided to bury their most precious possessions. They packed their wealth carefully into a chest, coins, jewelry, silverware, and hid it beneath the ground, likely intending to return later. Perhaps they planned to retrieve it once the danger had passed. Perhaps they were forced to flee suddenly. Perhaps they died before they could come back. Whatever the reason, the Hoxne Hoard remained hidden, forgotten by history, waiting silently beneath the soil for over 1,600 years. A treasure that rewrites history. The discovery of the Hoxne Hoard was not just a lucky find. It provided historians with invaluable insight into the final years of Roman Britain. Before this discovery, much of what was known about this period came from written records, many of which were incomplete or biased. The Hoxne Hoard offered tangible, physical evidence of life, wealth, and culture during this turbulent era. The coins helped scholars refine timelines of Roman rule in Britain. The jewelry revealed the level of craftsmanship and artistic influence present in the region. The household items showed that even in decline, Roman elites maintained a lifestyle of luxury and sophistication. This was not a barbaric, collapsing society. It was a civilization struggling but still deeply rooted in its traditions. The journey to the British Museum. After the excavation, the Hoxne Hoard was transported to the British Museum in London. There, conservators began the painstaking process of cleaning, cataloging, and preserving each item. This work took years, requiring patience, precision, and expertise. Today, much of the hoard is displayed in the British Museum in London, where visitors from around the world can witness this incredible snapshot of history. Glass cases showcase glittering gold coins, intricate jewelry, and finely crafted silverware. Each piece tells a story, not just of wealth, but of survival, fear, and hope. Standing before these artifacts, one cannot help but imagine the people who once owned them. Their voices are silent, their names are lost, but their presence lingers in the beauty of what they left behind. The emotional core of the hoard. What makes the Hoxne Hoard truly powerful is not its size or value. It is the human emotion woven into it. This was not a king's treasure, not a military cache, not an official imperial storehouse. This was likely the personal wealth of a family, perhaps a noble household, perhaps a successful merchant clan, trying to protect what mattered most to them. Every coin represents years of trade, savings, and inheritance. Every piece of jewelry carries memories of celebrations, marriages, or family bonds. Every silver spoon may have been used at a table filled with laughter, conversation, and life. And yet, whoever buried this treasure never returned. Their fate remains unknown. Did they perish in conflict? Were they driven from their home? Did the world they knew simply vanish beneath the tide of history? The Hoxne Hoard stands as both a treasure and a tragedy, a reminder that even the wealthiest and most powerful are not immune to the turning of time. The final reflection. As the sun sets over the fields of Hoxne today, Nothing on the surface hints at what lies beneath. Sheep graze peacefully, wind moves through tall grass. Life continues and different to the past. But for those who know the story, the land feels different. It feels like a silent guardian of forgotten lives. The Hoxne Hoard is not just the largest Roman treasure ever found in Britain. It is a buried heartbeat from a lost world, a final whisper from Roman Britain, a message carried across centuries saying, "We were here, we lived, we loved, we feared, we hoped." And in 1992, after 1,600 years of silence, that message was finally heard.